Cards with a K is a game of light strategy which pits the powers of World War II, deck versus deck, card versus card, and we're going to take a look at it here today on Legendary Tactics. So today we're going to essentially recreate the American War of Independence. We're going to pit the British against the Americans, and it's one of the fun things that you can do with cards is play any major power against any major power, and so I think this will be an interesting matchup. And the British are very good defensively. You'll notice the fortification card there on the far right. That gives the HQ an extra 7 health or whatever, hit points. And artillery is also big. And also the cards that you'll see a lot are have the ability of guard. And guard protects either the HQ or a card on either side of it. So you kind of have to go through them in order to get anywhere. Now, the only thing with my I like the cards that I have. The only problem is that, and maybe I should have taken a mulligan, is just that the cards are expensive. They're all 3 credits each. The Americans are also very good. They've got, pretty good attack factors and so forth. They also have the power of economy. You're going to see that happening. And so I play the only card I can afford, which has the Fury ability, which is okay. It certainly can help in the right moment. You can see a card like that for the U.S. gives them an extra credit, which boosts their economy pretty quickly. This is the destruction. Destruction ability there. And again, Fury is kind of a neat ability, but it still ends up typically wiping out the unit that you're attacking with. So I don't know if it's that great, but it's fine. Anyway, we're going to get a unit down, get ready for that American unit to attack and take the front line space. There you go. And we're going to follow up. I love getting the artillery down. The artillery is really fun to use if you can protect it. That's the only key. And the 5th Brigade, that's one of those guards that I mentioned earlier. So we'll just take that frontline enemy out, and we're going to get the artillery there. And so that is a T-19 howitzer, and he's got some air strength there. So you can see there's some really good cards for the Americans, especially. They're not bad at all. They've got some good strength, and they're not really that expensive when you combine that with the power of the the economy that they get going. It's pretty good. So I only had 2 damage here. I decided to go for the tougher unit because I'd like to. If that unit advances, I'd like to be able to take it out. Not much I can do with that last credit, unfortunately, but now that we're getting into the 6 credit range, I think we'll get a lot of good opportunities. And I ended up charging in and blowing up my guy, but I got him as well. So so there's going to be, you can see the Americans do build up some pretty good firepower pretty quick. And but now that we have 6 credits, we can start doing some damage. We use the Fury to wipe out that, and we've got the our artillery there. It's not going to be enough to take out his T-19, but you can see at the cost of 2 to have a 4-5. That's pretty darn good. They've got a lot of good opportunities there, but that guard card is really excellent to just keep things, especially with 5 health. That's a pretty decent, even though it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's pretty good. I'm going to use the artillery to take out his artillery, and that buys me some time. And I've noticed the AI, at least in the tutorial, plays the American. I don't know. I think it's pretty conservative, actually. Fairly conservatively, but as it sits, we're really we're not, no one's really further ahead. So I'm going to beef up my front line, get my HQ up to 26, and my support line is full. So I'm going to be looking to advance someone, and that guy's the only guy available. So he's going to take some hits big time, but just making room in my support line there. And I think he's probably going to blow me up here. Yep, there he goes. So I weakened him a little bit, but it was more about creating room on the support line. That was the important part. Now we've got 8 credits going, and that is going to be pretty useful going forward. Can take out a unit there, which is perfect. Now he's technically ahead of me on credits, so this is going to be pretty tight game, I think, as far as the tutorials go. Anyway, the opponents aren't supposed to dominate you, but I bet you if you really didn't play this game well, it would probably be I can envision a real beginner to these kind of games losing against the AI here. So but I've got beefed up my HQ to it's now down to 34, but it was up to 35. That's a lot of health to eat through. You really gotta have a lot of positive momentum. You kind of have to dominate that front line to really whittle down the British here, because that's especially with cards like 5/6s coming into play and everything. That's pretty good. So yeah, so we're just gonna focus on taking out the units here, even at the cost of my own unit. And I'm not too worried about having the weak units on the front line. They're not going to do very much. So certainly with an AI, I mean, if it were me, I would probably play very differently. Actually, the AI did a smart thing there in taking out the artillery, but I wouldn't count on that every time. Now the American economy is picking up, and you can see we'll be doing the tutorial next on the Americans to get a sense of how they can steamroll things. And yeah, now we're just beginning to move into a pretty dominant position. I mean, the Americans have a lot of credits, but if they only have 1 card in hand, there's only so much they can do. And so we're really getting, I think, some great momentum here. Now I'm down to 1 card as well. Hopefully he plays a tank so I can essentially blow him up with the card that I have in hand. But when he's picking up, 1/3, there's really not a lot that can do. Now that's perfect for right now to get a convoy, pick up a couple units, got a heavy armor, which is excellent. So that's makes it a unit that's a little bit tougher, but expensive. So we'll just take a moment here to take that guy out and start hitting the HQ hard. And we've got a couple cards in hand. We're going to be able to potentially put into play up to 3 cards next turn. He has to sit still. And we get the cup of tea, which is adding to the defense of every unit out there. So that is a super powerful card if you have a lot of units down. That's a look at that. Look at that. Is that a Spitfire there, or Hurricane is 5/7? That and the other infantry units are 5/8. That's going to take a while. Like, there's no chance, I think, for the U.S. at this point, even if they had some cards in their support line to defend. So we're just gonna, obviously I like to do my best to draw this out a little bit. You want to. I find there's a lot of satisfaction in crushing the AI, not just winning, but crushing them in as much as possible. So certainly there's this game is over right here, but anyway, we'll just end it, I think. But yeah, it's always a lot of fun to completely dominate the AI when you have the chance, because when the AI beats you, they show no mercy, so why should you? But anyway, this is just a quick view on how the British come together. And again, very defensive. Great opportunities to boost HQ health, and they've got some very good units and some very good abilities. So I think they're going to be really fun to play. Thanks so much for watching.